Yes, okay, so this is the May Community Board One Landmarks Committee. And we're gonna start with 109 West Broadway signage application. This is like a signage master plan. And we want to hear less about the history of signs and more about really existing proposed. So like, just keep that in mind. We want to get everybody out of here by 7. Okay, so less about the history, we all know the history, and no one else is here except me and these 3 people, so obviously nobody cares.
That's not true, but go on.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll keep it brief. My name is Brett Richheimer. I'm a resident in Tribeca, so a local member of the community, with a family as well. And, I'm one of the principal owners of New Tradition. We are a billboard company that operates currently in 16 states, all over the United States. We have quite a bit of signage throughout the greater New York area. We focus on doing both static signs, hand painted walls, as well as digital signs, all over the city. And that's just a little bit of background of who we are and go.
Thank you.
Okay, and my name is Nisha Hunter. I'm with Lee Saltzman Architects. We're serving as the preservation consultant to the New Tradition team. So I'm going to keep the, let's see if I can advance this.
Lucy came, just ask her.
You have to stand over here.
oh,
Ah,
okay.
please get the screen over
This-
here. Over here. I'll move over here.
I'm liking the slide that shows the progression
Ma'am,
from
Over
1914.
here to the
Here,
monitor.
let's help her too.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, is that gonna work?
Yes.
Okay,
As soon as she,
works.
as soon as she hands it to me, I can see.
Okay, let me do some magic. It's not working.
Not working. Let me
Right,
know what
okay.
happens.
So I'm going forward button. Let me just, yeah, you start your whole thing. Yeah, what's that, this one?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good start.
Okay, excellent. All right. So, one of the clients is going to speak a little bit more about the company. You want to just say
Well,
another word
he
or
did.
you're, Joe, you're good?
No.
He did.
not the
He
top.
did. We're fine.
Give us the nuts and bolts, I know. I'm trying to get rid of my 7. You imagine that?
Okay, I'm just trying to stick to.
No, that's fine, we want the whole thing.
Advanced
Okay,
slide.
zoning,
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna give you just a quick
Mhm.
orientation. This is located at a corner 109 West Broadway, corner of Reed Street, Tribeca South Historic District. And the 2 signs that are presently there, you probably have seen them. One has got like this really big sort of ghost-like hand with a paintbrush, and the other one's got a sign, paint, paper, paste, and push. Yeah,
sorry.
that's all right.
Where was that? I saw a good one there.
Go that fast. Okay, go
There you go.
forward.
Okay,
Yeah,
forward.
that's the proposed.
Okay,
One more. Yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Okay,
good.
yeah. We're back for one side.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
And the bottom line is that there's a ZRD1 that was approved for the existing signs, which are non-conforming, but they are existing signs that were approved provisionally by DOD pending C approval, but these are the existing as is. Okay, next.
Because these are not accessory signs, these are gonna be signs for the sake of advertising.
That's right.
Correct.
That's right.
And that's contrary to the zoning or a needed determination.
But landmarks doesn't have any jurisdiction over zoning, so we're just here to deal with the landmarks.
Okay.
Okay, so basically, there was a lot of signage in Tribeca, particularly near the intersection of West Broadway and Reed Street. Keep going. Okay, again, lots of signage at these intersections. Keep going. Found these awesome signs, and the key point here is that for corner buildings that faced West Broadway and had a big wall, like 3 stories, 4 stories, we have documented history of these monumental multi-story signs. The Tartola, whatever it was, I think it was stomach ailments, and then the stag smoking tobacco. I think they're all the same.
Mhm.
Okay, more signs. And again, at the intersection of West Broadway and Reed, so keep going. This I thought was helpful just to understand the chronology. There basically wasn't too much signage in 1914 around the First World War. 1939, tax photo, still not a lot of signage, but some. Then what we're estimating is the signs that presently are there were done in about the 1950s, Cold War era. And then 1992 at the time of the designation of the historic district, and then presently, keep going.
How old is this building? You see 1914.
This is 1860. And it's got 25 feet of frontage on Reed, and it's got 61 feet of frontage on West Broadway. Okay. Keep going. All right. Interesting. Painting, campaign, post World War I. All the vets are coming back and suddenly it's like, okay, all the stuff that didn't get a lot of attention during the war, please paint and clean. During the Cold War, the thought was that if you painted your house and kept it clean, you might avoid atomic destruction. So, yeah. Yeah, yeah. And so the other thing we wanted to document was, again, this sort of major thoroughfare of West Broadway and a lot of signs. And so, of course, there's a lot of previous LBC approval for signage on West Broadway in Soho, but we have seen some documented signage approvals by LBC, particularly on Broadway and Canal Street in Trenton.
Okay,
Next. All right. We also want to show you some examples of prior LPC approvals for signs at the principal facades. One is in Greenwich Village, the Capital One Bank. Another one is Sephora, that's in the Gansevoort Market Historic District. And then 107 Spring, which was just approved with modifications in Soho, was just reviewed by the commission a few weeks ago. So we just want to show a couple of examples of prior relevant approvals. Okay, current signage, you can see, there's basically a north panel and a south panel. And the width of the proposed white border, they want to be able to have a border around both signs of 9 inches. And percentage of signage coverage is about 28% of the facade. Okay, next. All right, so this gives you an idea of the proposed in 2 different versions. This is a master,
Yes.
the master plan.
yes,
Yep. And so there would be a unified campaign rather than having one entity being advertised on the north versus the south. So you can see that.
so that's a requirement of the master plan.
No, it is not.
Okay.
It is what is being currently proposed. Okay, next.
Could that be a requirement? Would that be a requirement? What does that look like?
I'm sorry.
What does it look like, if it's not, meaning our approval of this? Do we say, it should be 1 campaign, or it can be 2 campaigns, or it can be 7
That's up to you.
campaigns?
That's up to you. What is being currently proposed at this time is a unified campaign,
Okay,
okay? With graphic and text in both panels. Next, please. Okay, this gives you kind of the outline of the parameters of the proposed 10-year master plan. So it gives you the size, 11 by 10 by 24.3. Each sign would be about 290 square feet. Again, that 28% side coverage. And matching the locations of where they are presently, a vendor tag would be located basically in the middle bay under the windows. Let's see here, both have the ZRD1 painted. This would be hand painted application for the signs. Again, recalling the traditional painting application method. The white solid border, 9 inches, as I said previously, and a 10-year release. That's it.
so the zoning for C62A, your signs comply on the coverage of that type of thing?
I can't speak to zoning, but my understanding is that the CRD1 was applied for and approved provisionally pending land action.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, these are non-accessory signs, so they would not be advertising a commercial entity that would have
I
a
see.
sale presence. Yeah, that's it.
Okay, great.
Yep.
What, online first? Gerald? Carol, do you have anything to say?
I'm good.
Okay, you guys? What do you think?
Just
Are you
us.
familiar with master plans and signage stuff?
No,
Okay,
But
it's common. Windows and signage and stuff.
I'm just kind of stunned, but I can't believe that we're gonna cover up those paintings.
Well, I'll tell you why, okay, I mean, I'll let them tell you why, but, you know, the building's from before the century, the turn of the century, so if the sign was there from 1950 to 2009, it's really not the most significant part of the building, so for me.
To 2009.
Yeah,
No, it's
yeah,
1950 to 2024.
Okay, it's 2024, whatever, doesn't matter to me, I'm trying to be more open, I'm gonna give you the more open case, you know? But, you know, you're here to vote, I don't know, can I go forward, backwards anymore, what happened? I wanna show him I wanna look at the chronological.
Yeah.
Building almost looked like a church, I mean, it wasn't a church, but,
yes, we're back with the old stuff, but still.
thank you. It's a good slide.
Very good.
I once snuck in a slide to our thing. Remember that? 1914, no sign, looks like a church, but I don't know what's going on. It's
They
a
changed,
manufacturing gaslight. And then another angle of it, no sign. No sign. Is there a sign? No sign.
the nineteen
But it's still, the
thirty-nine,
building's from 18 what, they said?
1860.
So it's 1860 to 1940, no sign. Then a sign appears, which I agree is cool and elegant, and that reminds me of my first time being down here, but. And if it's as of right zoning wise,
Maybe they can do whatever they want.
no, meaning they can't do whatever they want because of this landmarks restriction, but. There are other, like, there's signage all around you, much of it
But
is.
there's not signage like this. There's this and this building across the street from it, right? I mean, I would love to see, for all the photos of signage from different buildings, I'd love to see an example that's been covered, painted over. I mean, people in the neighborhood will be up in arms over this. I know that's not exactly the operative question here, but it is after whatever that is, 75 years. At what
Mhm.
point does it become part of the history? Even if it's not original.
What if I told you, well, I don't know, maybe they can't, they could paint it cream any day they want, by right, as of right. That sign is not there, it's not such a thing, unless I'm wrong, that the sign is an actual landmark to that building. In other words, if it said Cartier on there, and they wanted to paint the rest of the building yellow, they would have every right to do that if they own the building, as of, no, they wouldn't even be here today,
Right.
I think.
Okay, but they do have to be here today, right?
And
And
maybe they're gonna paint it yellow tomorrow.
And then they wouldn't have to be here.
Right, but I came out like you, more negative, but at the same time. It's
to
not
be
a good
clear, I'm
argument.
not more negative. I am absolutely.
Okay,
negative.
right, I'm trying to
And
get you not to
I
be,
do agree with Jerry.
oh my God, okay, so we're gonna write a negative resolution.
I just think it's garish. I think it's
Okay.
really, and it changes the whole tenor. There's something,
Okay, I hear
there's
you,
something wrong with it.
I'm not here to argue,
And I don't want to take them out of business or whatever,
totally,
but it's.
well, no one's going out of business.
I know, that, I know.
Okay, so I tried for that positive resolution, but I can't do that. So we're gonna write a negative resolution. We're gonna cite something like what? That you feel like this sign, that we feel like this sign is actually part of more the historically significant period of the building, and therefore we don't feel like it's,
I mean, at the very
Improvement.
least, and this may not be technically correct, but at the very least, it is part of the fabric of a neighborhood that has changed very much over the past 75 years. It is a tie to the historical
Okay.
element.
okay,
I think Jerry's
Okay.
right.
great. So that's what we're gonna write, something like that. Okay,
Go back and just show me the pictures they showed you, before, you know, that landmarks approved and whatever.
well, other places, okay,
Other
let's look at some
places.
other places, 'cause I agree, there are, this is not working again, but I know, I've worked on these myself, that one, you have 155 Worcester, I thought that was actually 55 Worcester, but I worked on them at a signage plan with that, and I know this one of them looks like maybe off Bleecker Street, but, okay, so Not- Yeah, these are better examples. The one above the Mexican restaurant, okay. You know, don't forget the old decant, I mean, those are all changed. And there is something about these cool pictures, of this area that was just like that, and there were more tobacco signs, and there were more. I mean, these are incredible.
Well, and the context of the one immediately across the street in the building. Is it the building that the sushi bar is in? They have some windows that cut through them, but it's,
Okay, that's,
You know,
36 Hudson that goes through to West Broadway,
think so.
okay, yeah. The
No,
Whalebone Building or whatever
I
those
don't
are,
remember.
okay, anyway, we're gonna close it out, I think, unfortunately. And I'm sorry, it's such a light room, you know, like maybe it would have gone a different way if there were more people in attendance, but,
Who's gonna second?
I'll second.
Any opposed? Abstentions, recusal, motion carries. Negative resolution.
okay, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
When's your thing?
The fourth.
You're lucky that Landmarks really listens to us.
Yeah, that's true. That's,
So
put
there
that in
you
the
are.
resolution, that's a guarantee.
That will put that.
We're,
We're
strike out
really down on that. That's all right.
Carol?
Thank you.
Say it, say it.
Sorry, having a problem with technical issues here. Yep,
You're voting in
Right.
favor for the negative resolution?
We voted no.
yes. Vote no.
Okay.
Eight Northmore, you here?
Yes.
Well.
The second term. Get it together here.
And why is this ramp not at staff level? Is there something special about it?
Will you hand me one?
No.
Okay, great. Okay,
Thanks.
but you do have an application into Lynn?
Yes. It's target number. In fact, we just
Yeah.
got a material checklist
Okay,
today, so.
and did they mention it required a public hearing in that material checklist? Specifically? Well, then,
You may
we can
not.
bring that up and we can save you,
Okay.
we'll run through it very quickly, but if it's not required that you come here, I really don't want to go through, quickly through this. I don't want to put myself, okay.
I mean, it's very quick.
Okay, yeah, let's do it, okay, very quick. Yeah,
The building question is,
I got it.
Yeah.
8 Northmore.
Yeah.
28 West Broadway, right next to the Ghostbusters Firehouse, right, so everyone very familiar with an 1892 6-story building, very soft by the side. The ramp in question will need to go in front of the Rag and Bone store, more. Right now, there's an 8.5-inch step that's on the sidewalk and an additional 3-inch step that's behind the door. So we are proposing, left with the existing condition, right, we are proposing to put a new accessible ramp with handrail. To be able to get up to, this is actually being done in 2 parts. There'll be a 8-inch ramp outside to get the 3 inches instead of doing anything to the door. Those include everything. Get that additional 3 inches on the inside of the full scale plan, which is next. The other things that we're putting on the actuator, because the doors need to be able to open automatically, there'll be an actuator and a push button plate for the ADA accessible door to open. The handrails extension, nothing is going to be blocking at the entrance on the right as well, so that's what's taken care of. As you can see here is the ramp that goes to the back, which is the New York City Building Code. And as you can see, we have a clear floor space of 30 by 48 in front of it. And inside, we're proposing to do a 3-inch depression to accommodate the rest of the slope that's needs to be taken care of. And then here we have details of the actual ramp itself with the handrail shown and the connection points shown. This is just showing the area inside to be the materials that we're using. Black iron, steel, everything black painted, similar to all these other types of ramps around the.
Excellent. Are you doing any removals below this ramp, or this is all gonna be like above what's already there?
So going right on the side.
Great. And there won't be any removal of any like sidewalk vault lights or any of that?
No historic material,
Okay, no disturbing historic material.
including the store.
Okay, so let's do a positive
I just-
resolution for that
Can I
one.
ask one quick question? Just because over there you have the firefighters often park on the sidewalk, you've got a couple tree pits. How much clearance is there between I guess, the north side of the edge of the ramp and the sidewalk?
Yeah, I do not have.
Well, it's probably, we have a plan, right? I saw, you had a lot of drawings. Yeah, let's look at the picture. We'll figure it out. You guys make a commitment.
The building. Collection.
Because they just
Yeah,
added
I
a couple
don't
new
think
ones
there
over
is a
there.
tree, 'cause,
Right, they did.
well, this building is on two sides, isn't this on West Broadway and, so, and we're,
This is the Northmore side.
and we're doing the work on which side? Okay, sorry. So I'm actually, okay, right. So.
And it could be one on West Broadway.
Picture.
Well, no, there are a couple on Northmore, they may not extend over.
Yeah, I don't think it goes in front of the store.
Because the next building is the firehouse, no?
Correct. It's like a gap in.
I think there's any trees there.
Okay.
So just to refresh our memory on the code kind of thing, what do you think the minimum you have to keep there is about 8 feet or like?
It's an 8-foot ramp, yes.
No, but from the curb to the ramp starting so that people pass by, there must be some sort of dimension we want to make sure we keep there.
I believe it's 5.
Okay, great. 5 feet. Okay, great. Yep.
Yeah,
All right, so we'll vote second.
yes.
Seconding, and we're gonna say thank you. And someone wants to talk? Gerald?
I need to go.
Gerald,
You called the vote, right?
yes, we're up to you.
Recusals, opposals,
Oh, wait, we're just. gonna-
abstain, motion carried.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thanks so much. Number 3, 1 Governor's Island.
Great, so,
And then we have 108 Leonard? This is 108 Leonard. Leonard is doing what?
So while we see what's up in the presentation, I am not a part of the project team. I'm Sarah. I'm the Senior Vice President for Public Affairs at the Trust for Governor's Island. I just wanted to provide a little bit of background before the project team starts. In our effort to continue to make progress on restoring the buildings in the historic district, in 2022, we did a request for proposals for Building 140, which is a very beautiful building that's located next to the ferry landing. As part of that RFP, we were really seeking food and beverage, amenity uses, event space to help support the fact that we are now open year round. You can go to Governor's Island in the winter, but there is currently not a place indoors where you can grab a cup of coffee or a bite to eat. So we're really, really excited to introduce the team from ABC&E. David Hitcher is here. David has been a longtime vendor and operator of a food and beverage establishment on the island that's extremely popular. So really excited to expand their footprint as part of this project, and we'll turn it over to them to talk about the proposal.
Yeah, so I'm David Hitchner. We've operated Taco Vista at the exterior site of Building 140 for the past 6 years. We're April through end of October or early November, weather permitting. We are excited to continue to operate Taco Vista. In addition to that, we are looking to add a year-round cafe. We've operated in very hot weather, rain and all that, and it's gonna be a really good asset for the general public for them to have an indoor option. And then there will also be a larger event space that will support the cafe restaurant operations in the summer. And the other thing about the cafe is that Governor's Island doesn't have many amenities before noon, so it's gonna fill that sort of gap in the day. And that's sort of our vision for the building, to rehabilitate it and really expand upon it. And then I'm gonna pass it to Isaiah to talk more specifically about the design elements.
I'm Isaiah King, Associate Principal of Shop Architects, leading the project. In the spirit of going quickly, we can skip through some of this history that we put in here. Obviously, Governor's Island holds a special place in the harbor. The history of the buildings there is incredible. Our site specifically at the entry by the ferry has some sort of historical weight to the front door of the island in many ways. And has been there for a while. If you know the island well, it's right by Manhattan Ferry, and here in the red, that's building 140. The Vista site next door sits on about half an acre of open space which we're rehabilitating. So you go to the next slide. Sorry. This is the building as it exists today. So the interior fit out was done in '92. That's all non-historic interior. The building itself is not the landmark building, but is the landmark district. On the right, you see the existing Taco Vista. A little history of the building, sorry.
Okay.
Taco Vista is that existing kind of temporary area to the right, yeah. It's just, building history is built in 1875, has gone through about 6 renovations throughout its history. Is in a Romanesque revival period, built just shortly after the Civil War. The next one, these are photos from '83, the oldest photos we could find. Notable, the main entry was kind of filled in and had a sort of classical porch added to it, which is not the conditions of today with a larger glass door. And then on the other side, it's converted into a bank at that point. So there was kind of a split level slab added there. The next slide goes through the history. So '85, it was an arsenal building for the Army. Continued as a storage warehouse in the 1940s, used for clothing and storage. 52, a major renovation happened where a split slab was added to the building, which we have today. And some additional ramping was added in. 66, it was again like a storage area for arms, light arms, turned into a bank for the Army and then Coast Guard, and then operated as a support center for the Coast Guard. And today its function is basically a support center for the trust with security and for the National Park Service, as well as some first aid and office space, but largely empty.
Where's all that going?
I'll go through where that's going in the next couple slides. Existing conditions, the building itself is in sort of state of disrepair on the outside, which is mostly what we're going to talk about today. This is a view from the ferry exit. So you can see the north landscape there is elevated. The brick needs repair and some repainting. Generally, the wooden eaves are in good shape. The brick corbels are in good shape. There's been some repair done over the years. You can click through and see the other conditions. This is the sort of main western face. Existing windows, we believe, were put in '92, so they're not historic windows. We will be replacing all of those and all of the doors as part of our proposal. This is the Carter roadside today used for parking and traffic, local to the island. And click around to the next one. So the Carter roadside, we've kind of considered the back of the building, from the building facing the entry. And this is the eastern elevation where the stairs were added. Those louvered circular areas are also added, I believe, in the 55 section. You see that sort of crumbling. We'll show you what we're planning to do with that. And then the north side has a porch element that's sort of added to the symmetrical volume of the building, not centered. Click to that next one. Yeah, and that's from the waterfront. So, really kind of a proud building and an important building. If we go through the next few, we can go a little more detail. A lot of the bricks have been need to be cleaned, repointed, and we're replaced. We're hoping to replace with matching bricks, historical bricks. The brownstone watercourse and lintels need some repair. So generally, the scope is kind of fixing, repairing. There's not a lot of structural damage to the building, so it's mostly aesthetic work in the exterior. Go to the next. Again, repainting the brick corbels and entablature, which is in good shape. Working with LPC. We haven't met with LPC and SHPO. They're both at staff level. They're both pretty favorable with what they're proposing, but mostly working with select a color to match the existing with them to repaint the temperature.
So a lot of this stuff is staff level, what you just talked about.
That's right. We have a few non-staff level.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Okay, but so far.
These are all just staff level repairs. That's right. Yeah. Yeah, and replacing the gutters, copper gutters, replacing kind to match the half rounds. We're gonna keep what we have and replace what's damaged. So largely repair. This is the interior that was done 55 and then again in 92. You see that split level slab. Portions of that will be removed for the new event space. This large ramp will be removed. Notable in this photo is this, the beautiful trusses that exist, the heavy timber trusses. We're keeping those and exposing them, to the space and really celebrating.
Great.
Keep going. Okay, now I'll go through a quick design overview of what we're proposing. So the historic thick center stage here, we're combining it with dining and events. If you go to the next, starting with this sort of historic shell, we're preserving and improving that. It's split level slab will be cut back. We're keeping portion of it that has a cellar below. TGI space will have a new dedicated improved space for the 1,000 square feet of security functions on the western end of the building next to the ferry terminal. We're inserting 2 volumes that navigate the split level slab and also set up the 2 spaces, if you click to the next one, for the events on the lower level with the restaurant space, as well as the bar cafe above. One of the main proposals today is adding a new event off or a new entry for the event space off Carter Road. An ADA ramp curb to get into that is located on center to the porch on the north. So the symmetry of that access, as well as kind of the symmetry of the east-west access are preserved. And go to the next.
So the ADA access on the roadside?
Right, so that currently today is the use. We're planning to use that more as a sort of pedestrian zone for access to the event
So
space.
that's where the ramp will be.
Is that
Does that have a name, that road?
Carter Road? It's a private road.
If the streets are unmapped on Governor's Island.
Yeah. Okay,
That's an existing window opening. We're not widening it. We're just really inserting a door. We haven't had a
so the new entries are just on the water side, is that right?
The new entry is only on the Carter Road side.
I see.
The existing,
Oh, that says, this axial restaurant entry to waterfront, that's just there already.
that's existing. All of the doors except for the one on the Carter Road side are existing.
One door, one ramp.
The western door will be dedicated for the TGI space, which is why we need the new entry out.
Okay,
And the things that you said you were inserting, they're represented in 10 there. Where are they again?
Those are bathrooms,
Okay.
Lula lift, back of house elements,
Got it,
sort of
okay.
kitchen and bar. So
Got it.
those are new insertions into the shell.
Got it, okay.
Yeah.
That's just
But again, the
driving.
interior is not.
no, yeah,
laminated
please,
building
right,
at all.
it's also.
So again, we're
very
exposing these
beautiful.
trusses, trying to
Show us.
really show off the building with the brick. But again, it's sort of a little bit of a newer insertion within the historic shell.
Do it.
That's the event space. So the events exit onto a front porch area, front yard area on the outside where it's for seating. There's a ceremony terrace, and then the improved Taco Vista seating areas on the eastern side. All of this is open, revitalized public room space, right? So accessible to all throughout the year.
And this is all privately financed? Yes.
Correct, through,
Not public, no public funds, right?
that's a question.
There are gonna be some tenant improvements, correct, like that are, funded through our existing capital budget
But it's predominantly.
predominantly,
Yeah.
yeah.
Some imagery of that. So this is an image of the front porch and revitalized with that new seating area up front. Connect to the next one.
Lighting, any lighting, is that up for grabs here? Are you lighting it, or is that, we're gonna get there, lighting and signage, is that?
There's some signage in this thing.
Okay.
Lighting is not,
Like that
we're
ex-
thinking about potentially lighting the eaves subtly, but
What about the exterior lighting? Because then that. can
Yeah,
look on the
that's what I'm
spot.
saying, absolutely. Anything we're talking about here is exterior. Don't ever think that we have anything to say about the interior of these
So
buildings.
that lighting there.
Get the AC on, man.
that's sort of a movable.
Where's the-
like, pedestrian level lighting.
Whatever is easier. Just
Uh,
Put it on. Okay, you're gonna come back for us with these silly lights someday, is what, we're getting at, but so try to stick them into your presentation with landmarks, even if it's Eve lighting. And then, nothing else, these windows we're not touching these, right?
All replaced, all new. Replaced.
All new, just
All
like it
new to
is.
back. Yeah, I have some information at the end.
Yeah, okay, okay.
Alright, keep going.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got it.
This is a temporary shade structure.
Okay, thing.
You have the landscape.
Okay, but this landscaping, this is all, you're doing this is new, right?
Correct.
It's like new,
Correct.
okay. All new, all
All new,
beautiful
all new.
new.
Right now, it's sort of like an old park.
This is new, is
That's
this new?
revitalize Taco Vista. Taco
Right.
Vista exists, this is just an improvement. for
Great.
the city.
Okay.
All outside, not
Yeah.
touching the building, right? Just
We all know.
adjacent to it, I want to show them. So, okay, now, we'll pick through, these are temporary elements, which we just talked about, the shade structures, potential tent,
Mhm.
and then Taco Vista is temporary, but semi-permanent, right? Because it is.
And this, it's currently temporary?
Correct.
If they-
So this is gonna be, right, but this is gonna be more
It's gonna
permanent.
be round
Yes,
and round.
it'll be,
Taco Vista will not be around,
Okay,
no, but the
Structures are.
cafe will be.
will be
open to
inside, okay,
65.
got it.
I mean, is the bar and the kitchen?
They'll all be-
and
Equally
storage,
as temporary as they are today, because
Okay.
they're.
Yeah, they'll be containerized.
Got it, okay.
it'll be a ground.
These are shipping containers or something, right?
Yeah, right. Semi-permanent is what, I mean, they're not as easy to move as seating.
Sure, sure.
So, it's in a flood zone, we do have, some temporary flood barriers are very low, but they'll be added to hit the side flood elevation. We're making the entire project accessible, like code we need to. We're modifying a ramp on, a non-historic ramp on the western side, which is not code compliant today. Adding a Lula lift inside to access the split slab. ADA ramps in the landscape and then an ADA lift on the western side. So full accessible, which I
So,
feel good about.
out of curiosity, so if it's being turned into a pedestrian zone in the front, how are deliveries being done? Like on that?
So that area that's called Cafe Terrace, the ADA lift is kind of covering up, will double as a truck delivery pad. You'll be able to pull it off Carter Road and back deliveries into that and unload it.
Got it, so Carter is gonna remain around, it's not gonna be.
Oh, yeah, we're not changing.
Got it, okay.
There'll be like a.
It's their access.
Well,
They can't.
Yeah, there'll be a. Where there's usually parked cars and a ramp, that'll essentially be, removable planters to.
Got it, okay.
Safer pedestrian.
I mean, today pedestrians and cars share the road in the existing condition. We're hoping to improve that with the ramp and sort of safety features.
I was just thinking about delivery, if you're having, stuff brought in and out for a wedding or something, you're talking about several trucks, I'm just curious.
There's room for 2 trucks in that pull-off zone. I think there is that existing parking to the east, which in special conditions, perhaps we can utilize, but we're planning to keep most of it in.
Yeah, this will be an improved version of what happens today for events, and deliveries in that space.
Oh, they are having events in that space already?
We have 100 events a year in Governor's Island.
No, I mean, in this bit,
Yes.
got it.
Like
Not
Not
inside.
inside
Oh,
the
okay.
building, in the outdoor seasonal Taco Vista space.
Right, but now you're gonna be having theoretically,
But aren't you gonna have anything in the interior that you're doing,
Yes.
right?
What was that?
You're gonna have interior events.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's an event venue.
even if these questions aren't relevant to the landmarks, but we're anticipating the full board range of questions that will come
Sure.
on that.
And we'll push those along. because
it's not relevant.
I have
Here.
I'm to the waterfront meeting
Oh.
in 2 weeks, so I will also talk about that.
That's
It's there
Okay, I'll
to get.
Skip that one. Very nice one.
No, I'm good, good.
We're not going.
Give it to them. Alice and everybody,
Please.
give it to them.
Allison Tammy got approved.
Okay, okay.
So
Oh.
we could go through these next ones super quickly. They're just benefits to the community, right? Event space, places to gather, outdoor terrace space, which today is not
A lot of
usable. Sure.
Is it open to public? Alex. Oh,
Okay, yeah.
Yes.
Accessibility, right? We already talked about that. That's great. Everything's now accessible, not today, so it's an improvement. Resiliency will be, flood proof. Today it's not. It was damaged by Sandy. Obviously the public realm stuff, which today is really, not as nice as it will be in the future. Upgrading spaces, new trees, native plantings, et cetera. Improve food and beverage offerings, which is the whole point of the project. Then repair and restoration, which is.
so when do you think this will be done?
Free Wi-Fi.
Is that true?
When do you think it will be done?
Strike it, strike it.
There's already free Wi-Fi.
Oh.
Hi.
When do you think will be done?
We're hoping spring 2026. Potentially sooner.
So the specific elevations and edits are next.
Okay.
Sorry, the whole point
Yeah,
of this
okay.
presentation, right?
Yeah, okay.
That's the
tell
pre
me.
of that, sure. Keep going. All right, updates historic character. So,
Okay.
in summary, new door on the south. The dash line is sort of unchanged, right? There's a key that's off screen, but new door on the south. Next one is a new louvered half arch window for mechanical, which we talked about with LPC. These are non-staff level, but on the west, and we have an elevation for this. Following one is
See, next,
updates of these ramps, right? Removal of ramps and then removal of stairs, but due to code compliance and ADA accessibility. which is the next few slides. Since you click through, these stairs will be updated, replaced in kind, but expanded for ADA. The next stair is too narrow, the door is too narrow by code, we have to remove and expand that. And then on the north, a similar condition, those go to the cellar, but then doors are 30.
But like this stair is not original.
No, those are original. Well, they were done in 55.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And then this, walkway, which is also done, I think in 92 will be removed, it's just concrete. Adjacent to the building. So now we have elevations, believe it next. This is
Yeah.
existing western elevation. If you click to the next one,
That's the one where you're doing louvers?
yeah, there's the louvers, right? We're keeping the mullions facing the existing window, which is not a historic window, done in 92. And then the rest of it's all like repairing, repointing, repainting, slight modification to the door and ramp, just due to the interior heights for accessibility. But everything's replaced in kind to match.
Okay.
So that's the eastern side or the western side.
Yep.
The northern side, you'll see those windows, the lower windows are not historic, they go to the basement. We're removing those for flood mitigation, they otherwise need to be blocked for flooding anyway. We're gonna brick them up and replace the brownstone in kind. That door will be widened with an additional landscape stair. And the grade is being raised for accessibility reasons. There's a large 3-foot drop between the existing interior and exterior. And that's matching the current brownstone watercourse, working with J.H. McCorney, our historic preservation consultant. They felt like that was the right location to locate that. It's already at a watercourse line of the building.
I think that's
So
smart.
it doesn't sort of overlap any of the brickwork.
Okay.
And that's a small sidewall which will frame up that stair. So it's a sort of step back, but that's that repaired elevation. Next one is the east. That stair will be, the lower door will be widened for code. And here you'll see the stairs removed and there's a small ADA lift added with a updated stair and landing. We selected one that's mostly glass, so it has less of a visual impact on the building behind it. You'll be able to see through it. And there's a small piece of signage there that we're proposing up by that door, which is like a posted off brick painted galvanized. Which also we've reviewed with LPC. I believe that's not staff level. Carter Road is the biggest update. You'll see that the bays are not equal all the way across. The central bay is actually larger. And that's where we're putting that new door. The door is to match the existing windows. And this we consider sort of the back facade. So any new MEP penetrations that happen here, which again, we did review with LPC, would happen on this side. And potentially some solar panels that are a goal of the island for resiliency.
Okay, these ducts, that's probably what we want to say we like or don't like. That part of staff level, all these ducts.
I think the ducts,
When we say something about them.
sure, we were going to paint them to match the existing roof,
Yeah.
which is asphalt shingle. And they are for the mechanical exhaust and kitchen exhaust and toilet exhaust. But again, we're locating them all on the south side, which is the hardest to see, I think, from any vantage point for this building, but
This is the side that's not on the water.
correct. And you're closest to it. It's hard to get far away from it, so it's harder to see these elements that are up on the roof.
I mean, I'm all for solar energy, but how does that, I mean, it's highly distracting. What's the,
There's certain limitations on how close it can be to the kitchen exhaust or grease, et cetera, for
I
functionality.
why on the building like this?
Well, is that their staff level rules for that or no?
LPC has, according to staff, has guidance on this style of solar panel. It's like a black frame, black panel that they use, and they thought this could be approved by them if we utilize their approved solar array, is what we discussed with them. But
Yes,
I
Jared?
like it for the earth, but not the solar. I don't know, it's like,
Can have everything.
I would probably say sorry to the earth then.
Or we could say something like, we would like to see it reduced in ratio to roof. At least that's what we can say, and then it's on record that we said that. I kind of agree with you, but don't
Is
expect
it
anything.
appropriate at all?
I mean, not historically appropriate, but is it appropriate in preservation and
And
adaptive
the
reuse? I don't know.
reuse, I don't know.
Meets a standard, like, for example, think about how many buildings in our district that don't even have that as an option because of all the restrictions that are put in place. So like my building, forget about it. I tried 1,000 ways. You can't put anything on it. It's too small. And then there's fire department access. And then there's it's a pitched roof. You know, it's a low lying, you know, area and sun will hit it. It actually is a real deal solution. So that's why I wouldn't make it be something that stopped us from approving the project, for sure.
So is there not adjacent land where these panels could be mounted at the ground level? Or created into some sort of, you know, series of pergolas or something, rather than attaching them to the historic building?
There's gotta be something, there's so much of this island that's not.
I don't think
Utilized.
That would be
there's
taking away
space.
so
Well, but there's,
And with their plans for what they want to do.
Right,
you're
but
gonna
so
have
there's
their
like a
own
tower
plans.
and you're gonna have, right, so you're gonna be building all these new buildings, putting them on.
I don't, yeah, well,
It's okay by me.
okay, that's what I wanted to hear. Let's mull it over, but let's get through the rest. There's like maybe a couple more slides, right? Yep. So we got array of panels on that side, and this is signage.
Right, so these are other examples.
A
Currently, the
blade.
building has a blade sign that I believe Pentagram did as part of the original signage package. We're leaving that in place and trying to reference what's been recently approved on the island. So QC Spa has sort of tasteful blade signage. This is effectively the scale of our proposal as well. So we'll do the next one.
Pentagram has a place for it. You're changing what it looks like.
Pentagram signage at the security office will remain
Okay.
as is. This is new signage at the event space entry.
Yes.
Which would be, you know, small posted and then a small blade off of the pylons.
To me, that sounds
Right.
very,
Something very much in taste with what's already been done on that.
or would be in Soho,
Right.
or would be in our own.
And
plan.
it meets sort of zoning standards for projection, et cetera, for this type of signage.
And that's it. One blade sign, one pin added, and then
And on the other entry, there's one small sign as well. Right.
Right.
where's this? What's this?
These are the sort of overview. The doors we're replacing in kind.
Okay.
And then these are the details. We're planning to make them out of aluminum as opposed to wood that they are today.
Okay,
Which we
Got it.
discussed with Shippo and they are
Did you hear
open to
that?
for.
What's that? No, I did not.
they're proposing metal doors
Instead
instead
of
of wood. This Georgian revival or whatever it was. Georgian?
Why?
What you say?
Romanesque.
Why instead of wood?
For durability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's currently all of these doors are rotted out completely and they're installed in 92.
I hear you.
It's next to
Okay,
water.
so that, is that staff
And
level
there is,
too?
there is precedent, I believe, building 108, which.
For windows for sure, for
Right.
windows for sure. No doubt. And doors probably. Okay, we're gonna talk about how there's precedent set for that.
Right.
What do they do at the spa?
We're planning to match it.
What do they do at the spa?
The doors that face the water were the garage doors. They were originally intended to be wood, and then they ended up installing them as metal subsequently. So further conversation with this group and LBC and FIBO, largely based on durability.
I guess the only question is
Saltwater.
those other ones were 92, you're talking about 30 some odd years, right? I mean,
Well, they won't last. No wood will last on this island.
but they lasted 30 years, right?
They must have painted it 1,000 times, probably
Stripped
not
them,
last.
replaced them, it just doesn't last.
They don't work. They don't work, unfortunately. Anything on a coast here is not gonna work.
But, and this is even, it's literally.
It must be die, it must die.
Rounded.
So,
So those are existing. the
same
existing-
profiles.
Yeah, if you could
Same
do the next one,
profiles.
we're planning to match
Yeah.
profiles, mutton spacing,
Same
everything as much as we
same
could
button
possibly.
spacing,
That's-
same,
Yeah,
whatever.
we're not
And
trying to
then
modernize the look. And this is, again, these are from 92. We don't know what the original windows look like, but this is what we're thinking about. Is considered the historic.
Okay.
For what it is. And that's it. So we're, you know, we're super excited about the project. Think it, really improves the building and offers a lot.
Yeah.
Can you speak toward the, to the color scheme here, please?
Yes.
Are these the original colors?
This thing and original as far as we know.
Can you go back a slide
I can't.
to the
They locked
rendering?
me out.
Go ahead, go ahead.
To the rendering, that was ahead.
There we go.
Okay. Did you do paint analysis of this thing to determine the paint you want to color, you want to paint? That's all original, no? This wood?
The stars we have
Oh,
wood
corbellino.
and everything else is brick, right? But we haven't done a paint analysis.
Paint analysis, that would be great. I mean, if it's original wood, I think that's what Gerald's getting at, no, Gerald?
I'm gonna be, I'm not a fan of the white trim around the doors. I think historically, you know, it's like, why not pick a color that complements, this, I don't know, it looks like yellow on the screen, but.
Yep.
And I think historically, you know, a lot of trim and windows and doors would have been darker rather than lighter than the surrounding color.
Replacing all the doors and windows? Can we do something, like do a paint analysis, $1,400, comes out beige or the white dove or whatever it is, and make all the windows, of course, match the trim of the thing. That looks sterile and looks old and new. So can we do that? Would you guys do that? That seems like a normal thing. Beige, you know, if it's in the beige family,
Look better.
yeah, you're replacing or could you look at what some of the other colors of windows are proposed in these other buildings? Because they might not be this bright white.
A lot of the buildings have white windows.
Are they?
Yes, a lot, I mean, a lot of the buildings in this, what do they call it, the arsenal?
Yeah.
In the arsenal district, just surrounding Swanson's Landing, is, I think folks might be reacting to the brightness of the photo, but this is consistent with what's at Wilmington Cultural Council, what's at the spa. Our office, building 108.
Bright white. So maybe the other thing should be bright white. Again, it's like.
It's not really, it's not quite bright white.
That
It's more
doesn't,
like-
but don't we all agree that that's not a sexy combination of colors, bright white and yellow?
It is what's there and has been there for a while, so we're tempted to not
Show me a
play
picture.
designer and pick better colors, but that's kind of what's been on this building for.
Go back. with
Maybe
that.
if you go to the slide with the
Yeah,
spa.
They're way back, so.
All right, let's tee up the next people. That's one of, you guys come here a lot.
Much shorter
It's a
tonight.
big building, but, oh, there we go.
One more back.
Couple more though, yeah.
Okay, I see, that's the way it is, that's the way it is.
It does have these gold seals and the sort of dark blue seals, so the yellow does play off the gold, you know, facade a little bit. I see all this.
Okay. Anybody want to say anything else? Gerald, you want to say anything else about the paint? No.
No, I'm just not a fan of the white. I mean,
Okay,
or rather, I should say I'm not a fan of the yellow. I mean, it's just a very strange color scheme.
okay. So I
I
think.
mean, the main building is, definitely white, but everything's white and brick, you know?
Okay, so on the ramp though, on the new entry door, some of this HVAC stuff, solar panels, we're okay with this, and we want to see it happen.
I really don't like the solar panels though.
Okay, so, but would you like it? But,
If it's all or nothing, then sure, but you know, that I think is pretty.
okay, so can we say something like the proportion of it is, you don't like it at all?
I mean, they're gonna be building all these new buildings, they can't accomplish their climate goals. with These new buildings, I mean, I just don't understand why. Give me another context where that's been done, or give another example rather.
Do you have another example? On the island, did anyone put these up anywhere?
Off the island, anywhere, I mean,
We do not have examples of historic buildings. I would note that we only have 3 new construction buildings planned at the moment, so, I would just
Okay.
say that, that is not gonna be enough solar power to power the entire island, and this is one project, and I think our goal is to have every project be as model for.
Yeah, did we talk about that in the island comments? Don't we want that as a community? Okay, like, I think we had a whole chance to,
Yes.
weigh in on the goals for the island, and there were things about
right, but
climate
we
thing.
always talk about sort of bifurcating the topic of this particular meeting and the
Total.
sort of, yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the only other place we have any input from, except us 3 people.
Right.
So I'd like to try to just take from other, where there's a lot of people talking about subjects. This is just 3 people in a very big community that
Four.
really should be, I think, trying to get projects done, and so we.
I'm not saying we.
No, so we should note it, I'm going to note it, and we should note it in a way of saying, I think, it's heavy-handed, or not at all, you know, depending on that. We would prefer no solar panels, I can write that. But if otherwise will be, I think, a thing that ends with, we want to approve this project.
Yeah, sure, yes. I mean, I feel guilty even saying this about the solar.
Why?
Because
It's
my
okay.
ethos goes to the,
I know.
But if 3 other people were here from this committee, they may have also
Also
disagreed with you,
Yeah.
and not where I'm pushing it, or I'm not even trying to
Yeah,
push it.
Yeah.
So I want to hear that in the resolution, which I'll be writing, and otherwise, you know, someone should call the question.
I'll call it.
Okay, second. Okay,
Opposed, abstained, refusals. Camera? Yes, thank you, motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
7:00. Did it, almost.
Go over here. No.
A lot of paper goals not being met today.
yeah, we can talk about
Yeah.
the solar panels after we go.
Yeah, we burned a couple trees down.
I think I'll just sit here.
Yeah,
and
sit with
talk
us,
you.
please,
Yeah,
let's
okay,
do like an
great.
intimate,
Okay,
and
okay.
Hello.
Hello, so you last saw me with the gallery.
yes,
Yeah.
Which is all approved now at Landmark.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, we're
Thanks to
very
your
happy.
positive resolution, that was
Yeah.
great.
I'm sure that's what they did.
Well, I mean,
Well,
you guys were.
We were
much
very
more-
happy.
So we're back today. This is for the base building. So this is the overall redevelopment project that, you know, started when the city sold the building in 2013 to the developers. And then Landmarks approved a comprehensive, project that converted the building to residential. And so here on this slide, oh, maybe this slide that you.
okay, we're gonna go to the lobby, okay?
Well, this one is a good place, maybe the one before that, just to give you a sense, it was, you know, a hugely complex project. Extensive restorations to the building, it had really been, you know, left by the city. And it has this, you probably remember the very unique condition of very many interior designated spaces all
Susan and I
over.
were both here when
Yeah.
this first work.
And so this just gives you a sense of the completed project. You saw the banking hall at our last meeting. This is the fourth floor executive office that was moved as part of the approval. So they
Yeah.
relocated that whole room. And so that's sort of the overall context for the project. And so the next slide is going to illustrate the scope of work. So this is an application to legalize work that was done. There are landmarks violations for 4 aspects of the lobby. Now, it was, again, as complicated as the project was, there's a very complicated approval history. And this isn't the case of the developer sort of doing what they wanted when they wanted. This was all, there was an elaborate conversation with landmarks back and forth. There were over a dozen permits on the project. And so what we're looking at is the bronze motifs on the wall here, the flooring pattern, and then 2 pieces of furniture, the reception desk and the cabinet behind the reception desk. And so here you just get a sense of the overall restored lobby, that double height space, the monumental scale of it all. And we can go to the next slide. The historic condition. So you see it had a marble floor originally that had framed panels that marked or connected the major architectural elements in the space. And then the bronze elevator doors in the apse at the rear, and all of the marble balustrade and piers, everything. The photo on the right shows you the crossing, the sort of east-west corridor that crosses the lobby itself. And that, again, you can see the panelized system of the floor marking and connecting those major architectural elements. And so this is what the space looked like before the project started. This is the under city ownership. Everything had been painted. All of that bronze, the transoms, the elevator doors, all of that was gone when the project started. The floor had been totally replaced with terrazzo, yeah. And then, of course, all of the partitions and equipment and paint that had been added everywhere. And so that was the baseline condition. And here's a couple more views of the space today, the double height space. So the designation includes the mezzanine and the ground floor. So that together is the unified lobby. Oh, let me go back, sorry.
So they take issue with the desk, the lights behind it?
It's a cabinet, yeah, the floor, and there are those bronze motifs we'll look at. But,
The port.
the four things, yeah.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Yes, that one?
So here you go. So here's the cabinet and the desk are furniture. They're not attached to the floor. They're powered from below. There's electrical connections. But you can see the cabinet turns. It actually is storage for tenant packages. And it has a cast glass screen at the front. So each of those panels is cast glass. And so it's, has this very finely crafted detail that they're meant to be objects, art objects within the space. The reception desk is a hammered metal finish. They all follow the curves within the space. You can see the flooring is wrapping, it's following the curve in the ceiling, and that's all following the curve of the elevator bays. And you can also see that fully restored bronze wall behind it, right? The elevator bays and the transom. So all of that was part of the restorative package.
But there's an argument to be made that you actually can't see it because.
Well, you can, I mean, that's fully accessible. I mean, we'll talk about that a little bit. So you can go behind
But it
that.
doesn't have the same effect.
But
of
you
being
don't have
open.
The straight on axis, no, but as you move around the space, you do. And it does, and so, on the right, you can just get a sense of the cabinet doors opening. So they actually have a function. And there's more function maybe on the next slide. So the circulation plan. So it does act as a screening device because there are tenant amenities in the spaces beyond that. There's the mail room, the elevator, and then the stair down to the gym and other amenity spaces.
So there's only one elevator?
Oh, no, that's just
The amenity.
just for the amenity section. And so, when the,
Sorry,
Oh.
not to interrupt, sorry to interrupt, rather. Each of those are not actually working elevators that you see behind that's all been converted?
it's all gone,
This
yeah.
space.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's the mail room. And so it acts as this object within the space that you can walk around, but then it also keeps the traffic
Yeah,
kind of
functionality.
contained. Yeah, it has a sort of practical perspective. Next slide. At the time of the LPC hearing, the proposal included a reception desk. It wasn't fully developed, as you can see in the plan, and the rendering didn't even include it. This is the rendering from the LPC hearing set.
In 2014.
Yeah, 2014 set. And you can tell the program hadn't been fully developed. At that time, they were just showing a lounge within that back section behind where the elevator doors are. And that changed as this is, of course, Landmarks comes first. So it's very early in the project development. And so they continued to develop. The flooring was meant to replicate what was there historically, although this doesn't actually replicate that. What you're seeing in that rendering is different, kind of a postmodern interpretation of what was there historically.
And that was approved?
That was approved at the hearing. Yes. Next slide. And so that was in 2014. In 2016, as the whole project developed, the design team went to Landmarks with the proposal that you see here. And this included the cabinet, went to staff, exactly. Sorry, nice. Thank you for clarifying. Went to meet with staff with the cabinet, the desk, and the proposed flooring change. In response to that, Landmark's staff said they could approve everything except the floor, the black floor. And so a month later, this is August 2016, in September 2016, the designers of Tim, who is with us here, of Jeffrey Beers International, they came back with a lighter gray stone. And so as you can see, the floor plan uses a light gray, white, and black, follows that historic panelized pattern so that it connects the architectural elements. So that was what was proposed in response to Landmark's comments. So next slide. In 2018, the very large amendment went into landmarks, an extensive amendment. It included all of those drawings. So this is the cabinet, and the every detail one could ever need for the reception desk, and it was approved by landmarks.
Okay.
Okay, but landmark's position is that even if a drawing is perforated, if it's not, if the scope of work is not described in the permit, then it's not technically approved. And so that's why we are here before you today. So here you have the cabinet, the desk and the floor. We, you know, beyond the technical issues of the permitting, we believe that this is appropriate for a number of reasons. It is a, you know, clean contemporary insertion. It's furniture within the space. You get the full double height experience of the space throughout the lobby. The design is drawn from and relating to the apse itself. And it is of a quality that matches the lobby truly. I mean, it is beautifully crafted piece. And if you haven't been through there, you should just go take a walk and check it out, because it's really very lovely. And so that's the sort of takeaway for the cabinet and the desk itself. Next slide. The flooring, it was part of that 2016 conversation with landmarks. It also shows up in the 2018 LPC set. You can see the detail on the right. The stone is specified in the finishes schedule. And it's a herringbone bleu de Savoie marble that was used. And so that's the condition there. Next slide.
The marble on the columns, this is all original?
All original,
All
right?
original.
Yeah. And if you really look at it all, and it's all been restored. So, and the palette works beautifully. The gray picked up all of the gray in the veining of the original
Yeah,
marble.
that's what I was asking.
Yeah, it's really lovely. And I mean, it's just what one would want to do, you know, in this kind of circumstance where you were absent the historic fabric. And the issue here is that in that 2018 permit set, an old drawing of the floor was included, there was a new drawing of the floor and an old drawing of the floor. And so both of them were permitted as part of that. Next slide.
The one on the right is the wrong drawing.
Yeah, it's the previous drawing, yeah. And then here's a detail of the floor, so you can really see all of that sort of tonality and the patterning in the marble. Next slide. This is it, the last step. So, okay, so on the left was the original bronze ornament that are on the walls in the lobby itself. It's bronze, it was bronze. It had laurels on the sides with bellflower motifs coming up through the center. And that sort of vertical element at the center had a New York Life monogram and a fasces. A fasces is a bundle of sticks with an axe at its head. It was a classical motif that then became the emblem for fascism all through the 20th century. That symbolism can persist today in right-wing movements. And so by the time of the project start, the bronze fasces had been removed, and it was a crude sort of wooden, you can see it from this 2019 photograph, it was a wooden portion where the bundle of sticks was, and then but just the bronze head of the axe had remained. And so our proposal, maybe the next slide, we could go to, this is what it looks like today. It's the laurel, laurel and the bellflowers. It's all been restored, and our proposal is to leave it this way and not replicate the fascist symbolism.
You never know. We may be there.
And but it's, you know, if it were entirely historic fabric at the time of the project start, it would have been a different story. But to replicate something with that meaning at this point seems
So
wrong.
what now is
That.
historic?
Yes, all the historic bronze is there, yeah.
Just the centerpiece.
The centerpiece, which wasn't there at the project start.
The
It was-
specific center.
Yes. So that's it.
I mean, the only thing I'd say, I mean, there are elements though of this that are not fascist, right? I mean, the New York City, right, there's an.
Oh, no,
New York
it's,
Life.
yeah.
Insurance company.
Yeah, and the center motif was, but the fasces were used in classical architecture all the time. I mean, it's all over the place. But the question is, if you don't have the historic thing itself, what is the meaning, what are you accomplishing by replicating something that has taken on that meaning at this point in history? If it wasn't there, it wasn't removed as part of the project.
Right, but there, I guess what I'm saying is the entire thing in its entirety is not a fascist symbol, right?
No.
It's just,
No.
so is there a way to, I mean, I understand why somebody might not want to have a fascist symbol in a central building.
Mhm.
But is there a way to approximate a version of what was there?
Mhm.
Because it is much more intricate in the original than
Mhm.
what's there right now. It's.
Right.
It's difficult, but yeah, is there a way to do something? with that
Something,
picture?
it's possible. I just think that, the
Even a
replicate
reference to New York life.
life or something, yeah.
I like the idea of the New York.
Yeah, yeah,
reference.
I
I do.
like that.
I think that's a good idea in some way.
It'll complete it.
I think it looks
I mean, it's
vacant
open
in some way.
Angels or something.
That's-
It looks weird. It looks weird. So,
But yes, I think that's what Jared, right?
yeah,
I'm good.
yeah. So, we'd like to see the New York life insurance part, which is not.
Yes, which is not fashion.
Okay, I think I know how to write that in, but otherwise, don't you think it's good?
I think it's good. I have no trouble.
And so the glass and the desk are not, so in 30 years when they want to renovate, they can swap them for a.
Yeah.
What?
It's in 5 years, they could do that.
Sure,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, absolutely.
Like what?
Yeah.
Can I call the question?
Yes.
Second.
Okay.
Camera, quickly.
Yes.
That's a yes, okay, motion carries.
Okay.
Thank you.
all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Considerably shorter than my last
Oh,
visit with
Yeah,
you.
good job, though. Very nice job. I can't, all right, I'm not going.
This is about Wall Street?
No, this is about, I can't remember who it was.
Gerald.
Was you that for?
No, Gerald.
Oh.
I think.
Well?
he wanted-
What's up?
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you all.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Well, I vote on this. You have it right here.
Okay. This is your all thing?
Yeah. Well.
I did this when I started here too.
Well, that's what he did, it's.
Oh, really? This is it?
Right, so he
Michael.
wants to,
What does he want?
I don't know, he's here.
Gerald, what do you
What
want
do
to
you
put on here?
I'll take one.
I'm sorry, it's very difficult to hear everybody's talking. So what was the question?
Just let me get it for a second. You would like to make some changes to the applicant's presentation guidelines. Previously revised April 2015. Would you like us to look into any changes of what we distribute to our applicants?
What's on the website?
Link was in the agenda,
Yeah.
the bottom, the last item,
We could change the font.
be nice.
No, we could.
I think
People
you
think
had
that's
brought it up last time that we should revisit it.
Yeah, well, there was some question because folks were not providing pictures with sight lines and with I'm just reading through it right now. Photos of sight lines for addition. The street. There should be diagrams with a street
Sightline diagram.
sightline, right?
Sightline diagram is missing.
That's right.
Okay, good.
I
believe that was the only thing that we,
Yeah, and I think, Darryl, the real issue is what I struggle with in licensing is, it's what we we accept from the applicant. And I think that's always,
You know, if someone comes with somebody funky, yeah.
yeah, I think, you know, we've been more critical
I
of
have
other
to ask
sites.
for samples.
All right, that's okay, but
You tell me what to do, I'll tell.
I think you just tell them these are our rules.
And we want them to comply with, and if they're not complying, why not? What's the reason?
Right,
Okay, why not?
like a Trump kind of guy.
That's
Here's some motion to adjourn.
Yeah.
so moved.
Well, thank you very much for coming.
Okay.
Thank you very much for having us.
Good night, all.
Good night. That wasn't bad.
No.
I think
So
that,
Mike,
that,
that's